In this video, I'm going to share with you my weekly recap where I break down my 2 trades for the week and how I'm finishing the week up just over 0.5% on my account, so stick around. Hi everybody, I'm Emily from the channel Mindflow Trading. If you're new to this channel, I share my journey as I progress and develop as a trader. And this week I am finishing my account up just over 0.5% trading Forex. I've done 2 trades this week. I've done Euro USD, which was a loser, and I've done the Great British Pound to the Japanese Yen, which was in fact a winner. So I'm going to jump on the screens with you and break down the trades for the week. I had actually shared a video, I'll put a link above somewhere, where I share my breakdown for Euro USD. So in this video, I'm going to predominantly focus on my winning trade, which was the Great British Pound to the Japanese Yen, and just share with you my data for the week. So let's dive right in. Okay everybody, so as you can see, I've just taken 2 trades this week, and both of the trades I actually got into on Monday. One of them, the winning trade, I actually held that for a couple of days and that closed, hit my profit target on Wednesday. So I've added the record there for Wednesday. But I'm up on the week £2.40, and it does work out just over 0.5% on my account. I'm generally trying to risk 1% per trade, but as my broker doesn't support the nano size position size, I can only take micro position sizes. So sometimes it might work out that I take a little bit less than my risk, and on some trades a little bit more, depending on which way I'm rounding it. So in this instance, I actually ended up taking a little bit more risk on my losing trade and a little bit less risk on my winning trade, which is just one of those things. So that's why my profit is a little bit less than it probably should have been. But green is green and green is good, and as I said, I'm up just over 0.5% on my account. As I said before, the losing trade that I took, I got into on Monday the 21st of July, and I actually hit the stop on that day as well, and it was a very poor quality trade. I did go into it in detail in my other video, so I'll add a link to that above. But just to reiterate with you, it was basically an uptrend and I went against the trend, which is obviously a big no-no, and I didn't have a valid support and resistance point for my entry. It was just one of those unnecessary kind of emotional trades that I'm not exactly proud of, but I am still a beginner and that's part of my learning process. So that was the loser on that one. The other trade, however, I'm really happy with this. This worked out really well, and it's part of the new strategy that I've integrated for July as well. And that's the pound to the yen. I've only been risking 0.01, so very, very tiny risk on my account. And I'll run through my entries, my stop and my target with you on the charts because it's probably a little bit more clear. And if I scoot to the end, I did make a 2% return, so I was risking 1% to make 2, which worked out at £7.27. And the trade setup itself, it was using the 1 hour and the 4 hourly time frame. And I basically was watching a channel. So I brought at the bottom of the channel, when I had my candlestick pattern confirmation, a pin bar rejecting the bottom support of the channel, I brought in there and I basically rode it as it came up, and I think it actually broke the channel in the end. So I just added some notes here on my spreadsheet, just summarising the setup. But I've also just made a note in my corrective actions because I could have definitely let the winner run a little bit longer. I didn't because I wanted to follow my plan. I didn't want to get too greedy. But it's a good reflection for me moving forward, because if I take maybe 2 separate orders, 2 half-size orders, so my risk is the same, I could have one order that hits my original targets as per my trade plan, and I could have the other order where I just leave it to see how far I can let my winner run. So that's something I'm thinking about doing in the future. So let's dive onto the charts and just share this trade with you. So I'm going to get onto the weekly chart here, and as per the weekly analysis that I carried out at the beginning of this week, I could see that we were in this consolidation flag here. And the prior week, the 20th of July, we actually had this strong green bullish candle that did close above the week before, which was a good signal to say that it has the potential to go further to the upside. So I was interested in this on a long position to go with the trend. Breaking this down further on the daily chart, I could see that the prior 2 daily candles were red, but the candle, the 24th, which was last Friday, was actually quite a strong pin bar to the upside, because price action had come down and it sort of tested this area and bounced back up, where I've actually got this red dotted line representing a pivot line, which is a previous support and resistance zone. So I felt like that showed that we were coming back down, maybe to gather more strength, and then this kind of showed a clear rejection of that area to show that there's definitely some buying strength and that the buyers were more in control. So if we jump into a 4-hourly so that we can see things a little bit more clearly. And from here, I've got, as I said before, I've got this pivot line here, this dotted red line at the bottom. And I've also added this horizontal ray line above that, because that's where we've had quite a few different tests of this line and also rejection point. So we've got a candle there that's respected this level, and pretty much all of these candles here have all tapped this horizontal ray and they've all closed below that. So it shows that this is quite a good resistance level here. And then we've obviously bounced back down, and we've then again tested this pivot line at the bottom here, where once again it's held this level. So we broke through on this candle, but then on the following candle there was a very strong bullish candle here where we bounced back above this pivot level. And this is where I was quite interested, because I've identified these channel points here. So it's actually this 4-hourly candle here where I actually got long into my position, because once again we've come down to test this area which we previously have seen that there've been strength to the long side. So I thought there might be again that retest of that to then push to the long side. And then furthermore, the actual candlestick pattern itself is a bullish pin bar. It could have been more bullish, obviously, if it had closed green, but we still have this very long lower wick where we've price actions come down, it's tested the area, and then the body's actually closed small and at the top because price action has bounced back up to the upside. So it's a bullish indicator here. And once I'd identified that, this was the candle for 6 a.m. So I was using a combination of that together with the hourly chart. I just find the entry point here. And I actually used the hourly to find a more precise entry for my position. And I got in on this candle here because I saw this bearish candle come down and close just above the pivot line. And then the 8 o'clock hourly candle opened up and it was quite a bullish candle that went straight up here, and that's where I got long because I could see this pin bar forming on the 4-hourly. I didn't actually wait for it to close, but it was very close to its closing point, and I was using this hourly in conjunction with that to get long, to get an earlier entry on the position. So just jumping back to the 4-hourly then, just to break it down further. So once again, I'm in this position of this candle here, and for this trade I'm risking 50 pips in order to make 100 pips, so I'm using a 2-to-1 profit loss ratio. And there's a couple of reasons for that really. I've used 50 pips because I wanted to have my stop below this previous candle here, which was at 134.99. So I've put my stop just below that point, and because I was trusting that this pivot line would hold. And I put my profit target below this horizontal ray because we can see here that it has been an area of resistance. So I wasn't totally sure that we would break that, and I didn't want to try to be greedy and reach too far in case it didn't reach that, and then obviously came back down to my entry. I mean, as it happens now, my target was actually hit in about 2 days of setting this position, but it's Friday today, so 5 days later, and it has actually broken the upside of this horizontal ray. I had thought about extending my target to another 50 pips to try to get a 3-to-1 profit loss ratio, but I decided against it because I think it's important to follow the trade plan, not only for the losing side but also the winning side, because I didn't want to get too greedy and detriment the trade. It's better to kind of look afterwards and, you know, learn from it and reflect on how you could do things better, which is why I'm considering taking 2 half-size positions in the future, one that can follow my plan and one that I can allow to try to get a bit of extra profit. But I did think it might have the potential to go to this weekly trend line, so it'll be interesting to see how it reacts at this point here. But right now, as you can see, it's actually coming up to 4% in that trade. So I could have probably got double, but regardless, I'm happy with the result of this. I've still had a nice green trade here. So all in all, it's been a good week. I've been taking it a little bit steady this week. I've only taken 2 trades for a couple of reasons, really. Basically, as you guys know, if you've been keeping up to date with my videos, I've been testing out a new strategy this month. So I've been trying to focus more this week, especially on quality over quantity, looking for my trades that hit my plan, which is where I went wrong on Euro USD. And naturally, it's a bit annoying because if I hadn't have taken that trade, I could have just made a really nice 2% on my account this week. But That's part of the learning journey. Also, with it being the last week of July, I felt like I wanted to be a little bit more conservative and sort of protect my account a bit more, ready for the new month, next week even, as we go into August. So I'm going to do my usual analysis on a Sunday, ready for next week, and see what August brings. So I hope you've enjoyed this weekly recap. Do hit that like button if you have, share some love, and don't forget to subscribe if you're not already part of this channel. I'll catch you in the next video. Have a great weekend, guys. Bye.